Protesters outside the provincial conference of the ANC venue this morning were upset about the selection of delegates, saying they want those who were selected to be removed. The party is kicking off its provincial conference today at the Olive Convention Centre in Durban. The ANC in the province says it needs to check on the veracity of these claims. Senior reporter Spamandla Goke is following developments, as well as Manqoba Mchunu. They both join us now live. Manqoba, let me just start with you. I believe you're with one of the candidates who's been selected as possible chairperson after this weekend.
Indeed, Masiko. In fact, we are with the businessman, Asandi Dezung, who is, of course, vying for the top position here in the province. He will be contesting that particular chairmanship alongside the incumbent, Sihlezi Galala, as well as the MEC of Finance, Nomusa Ncube Dube. But, of course, let me get to him straight, just to get a sense of where he stands right now. Thank you very much, Babu Zungu, for your time. Let's start. What are your hopes going into this conference? Are you confident that you're going to emerge successful?
I'm very confident that over the last couple of months, the people of KwaZulu-Natal, especially the branches and hence their delegates, have found the message of a fresh approach to the politics of KwaZulu-Natal quite appealing, and it has resonated with them.
And just looking at the issues, of course, one of the big issues here in KwaZulu-Natal is the divisions. And we know what these divisions have done to the party. They've also cost the party its electorate. What are you hoping coming out of this? How confident are you that you're going to come out a united party, a united ANC here in KwaZulu-Natal?
The issue of divisions is a foregone conclusion. The ANC in KwaZulu-Natal is fractured. And its position is not different to ANC in other provinces, by the way. But what is very important is that we move away from the factions and the slates that have accompanied the conference. And whoever emerges as the chairman and the collective of officials that emerges and the PEC that emerges will have a fundamental task to bridge the divide that exists and to unify the party behind the message of the ANC. It has got 24 months to then make an impression to the electorate in KwaZulu-Natal so that the mandate of the ANC can be renewed. And therefore unity is not a luxury. It is a must for the ANC in this province.
How confident are you? Have you done work on the ground? Are you certain? I did ask you, say that you're quite confident that you'll emerge victorious, but just looking at the lead to this conference, how confident are you that you have driven that message to the people?
What we said to the people of KwaZulu-Natal is that you need a fresh approach to the politics. The ANC and social distance have become one part of the equation. We need to move away from that social distance. And when we talk about the love that the ANC used to dish out to the people of the province, that love is pretty much gone. And therefore our message has been, we need to bring ANC closer to the people and of course focus on the economy, because there are many low-hanging fruits in this economy of the province which are waiting to be harvested and which we are not harvesting, so that we can create employment for young people in particular, and we can grow the provincial economy and hence the national economy. We believe that that message has resonated very well with the people of KwaZulu-Natal, and that message comes from the fresh approach of which I've tended to be the custodian thereof. But we are part of the ANC, and that's why we are contesting for the space among the 1,600 or so delegates here. And we think that message has come across very, very well. But the power is in the hands of the delegates, and they're the ones who must decide. And until they've sung, the dancing is not over.
But going into this conference, of course, one of the thorny issues is the issue of the step-aside policy, which you have also been quite vocal about. What is it that you're going to be putting to this conference in terms of that step-aside policy?
You know, I'm a child of engagements. I'm a child of consultations. And what I've done very well in the last couple of months is to move across the length and the breadth of this province. And I've spoken to branches across all 11 regions. And one thing that is common among all those branches is the discontentment and unhappiness with the application of the step aside. Step aside per se, beautiful. You've got to bring accountability. But if you apply the notion of accountability selectively, there's a problem. And so the application of step aside leaves much to be desired, and therefore the very consistent message across the province of KwaZulu-Natal is that it needs to be reviewed fundamentally. It has to be looked at the next national gathering of the people of the ANC.
Okay, thank you very much. That was Sandile Zungu just speaking to us. Well, I see also here, just not far from me, is Dakota Likwete from the ANC, the national office. That is Dakota. We've seen quite a number of hiccups here this morning. The conference was meant to start at 10 this morning, but it hasn't.
Yes, indeed, it hasn't started. By now, we are ready. We've done registration of more than 98% of all delegates to conference. We are ready to start. What is remaining is to deal with the last 176 delegates. Mostly, some of them are delegates who come from the dispute resolution process. Others are replacements as a result of whatever natural attrition that happened. But so far, we are confident that we can start at any time from now.
What are you hoping as national in terms of this conference? Of course, one of the issues are the divisions, as I spoke to the former guest, Sandile Zungu, that are here in this province. What are you hoping coming out of this conference as national, and what are you here to observe?
Look, as national, you know, the ANC is a governing party. We have the burden of responsibility and leadership as the ANC to ensure that we provide leadership to society. Amongst things that we need to come out of this conference, it's policy certainty in terms of which direction the country has to take. In terms of, you know, the inflation rate as yesterday went even as up as 9%. That's very high for any emerging economy. So it means the cost of living is going to be very high for our people. So our people want certainty for the future of their children, the education of their children, that there will be food security, there will be energy security, that there will be jobs. Those are things people are interested in. And I think as delegates to this conference and as the leadership of the ANC, that is what we would expect, something that can propel South Africa to move to a positive trajectory and to a higher point where everybody will live in a prosperous country rather than in a country where there's hunger, because according to stats say 25 million South Africans sleep every day without food, despite the fact of the mitigation of government in terms of social grants of 18 million. But that 18 million beneficiaries also are part of the 25 million that sleeps without food. So the impact is very low. So we need a leadership that is properly focused, delegates of the governing party who are properly focused, so that we can move the country to another level.
Just finally, there's a protest taking place outside, and that says that there are still disputes that have not been resolved. It's a protest by one of the wards here in eThekwini, Ward 91, that says that they have an issue with the nomination of some of the candidates. How are you going to address that, given that the conference is going to start?
Look, we are very patient. We are here as the national leadership of the ANC in terms of Rule 12.2.4 of the ANC Constitution. That says national has an obligation to establish provinces, regions and branches of the ANC. We have a responsibility to play oversight. We have a responsibility to support them. So all those branches, all those disputes, all those queries, we are here to help the province, the regions and branches to get to a solution, to a point of a solution. And so that's why we are here. So we are going to be patient, but so far conference is cooperating. It has reached the threshold. They can proceed with the business of conference whilst we are dealing with outstanding matters.
Okay. Thank you very much, Dakota, for your time. Well, as you've heard, Masiho, well, they're saying basically that they're ready to go ahead. It's all systems go, and they're, of course, expecting that conference to begin shortly.
Manqoba Mchunu outside the Moses Mabhida Stadium. Let's go to Siphamandla Goke, who's inside the convention center where the conference is expected to take place. Manqoba, we've heard some of the leaders. You spoke to one of them yourself, Unhlakanipho, the spokesperson of KZN, ANC and KZN. They're saying that it's supposed to start quite soon. But I want to hear from you. How does it look to you? Does it really look that way?
It's not going to start anytime soon. The venue is relatively empty. Before we show you the venue, I've spotted this gentleman. His name is Bheki Mtolo. He is one of those who are tipped to contest for the position of the provincial secretary. So before we continue with the preparations and logistics, let's just hijack this man. Babu Mtolo, thank you very much for your time. Your name has been mentioned that you will contest for the position of the provincial secretary. I know you will give me a generic standard answer that all ANC leaders give, but are you going to accept nomination?
No, it's premature now. It will depend if anyway I will be asked that question. Then I will answer that question when that time arrives. I can't do it now.
How are you going to answer it?
It will depend. For now, I will answer that question in a proper time, in a proper platform.
But what do you make of your name being mentioned? Yesterday, the Regional Council of eThekwini said and resolved to support the leadership perspective where your name has been mentioned, including Siboniso Duma. They have resolved to support you for the position of the provincial secretary. Other regions have also said the same thing. Were you surprised that your name has been mentioned for that position?
No, I've heard that, but my only focus is that this conference must about servicing the people of KwaZulu-Natal, changing their lives. Most of our challenges is of water, electricity, primary health care clinics and all that. I think that's what the conference must. Election of leadership is part of it. If it happens, but it's not what we must focus on.
Especially since you are losing power in KwaZulu-Natal. Your municipality, Kokstad, is doing relatively well, but in other parts the ANC has lost power in some municipalities. Will you have enough time to discuss policy issues, bearing in mind that this conference is delayed? By now you would have hoped to start.
I think I will have, because the conference, I think, is anticipated to end on Sunday. We still got lots of time, and then we'll focus more on policies and how we're going to respond to the challenges facing the people of KwaZulu-Natal. Remember, this conference is not about ANC members and supporters. It's about the people of KwaZulu-Natal and making sure that it responds to their challenges that they face on a daily basis.
What should be the mandate of the newly elected leadership, whether you are part of it or not, in terms of reviving the ANC that is losing power, that is still grappling with issues of unity, but most importantly, an ANC that is under siege?
I'm not sure ANC is under siege. So we've witnessed some decline in electoral support in the province, not necessarily under siege, but I think the conference is at well best to answer that question, because I can't answer the question as an individual. It depends on the conference. And let's allow the conference to answer that question. And those who are elected, of course, they will have to go with what the conference has mandated them to do.
Where does the name the Taliban come from?
I don't even know the name Taliban. Remember, I'm a member of the PEC and the leader of the ANC. That's what I know.
It's associated with your slate.
But remember, the factions and divisions and then people, when they have views and all that, they just name their groupings with any... Normally, the word aligned to a particular view does not necessarily mean that thing. It's just to capture... Remember, your society is dynamic now, it's young people and all that, but I don't think even those people that are called Taliban, they really believe in Taliban.
Thank you very much for time back. That is Bheki Mtolo, ANC PEC member, also one of the people who is said to be contesting for the position of the provincial secretary. You asked me a question about this conference being ready to start. The answer is no. Look at this. It's relatively empty. Only a number of few PEC members that are on the podium. This is the overlay and the layout of the conference floor. This is where all will be playing out. It's just security for now, staff members from the ANC offices and other stakeholders that have been invited, members of the media are also here, but the venue does not paint a picture of a conference that will start soon, despite the provincial spokesperson of the ANC in KwaZulu-Natal, that is Nhlakanipho Ntombela, saying the conference will start now. So we'll just take a walk and try and go to the main stage here so that you will see PEC members that are here to try and as they wait for this conference to get underway. away. So for now, nothing is moving, relatively quiet. Delegates are not here. Nothing much is happening. The wait continues. It will be like this for more, or should I say for few more hours to go. For now, nothing really is happening. Hlakani Pontombela is hopeful that the conference will start just before 2, but I don't think that will happen, or should I say will start around 2 o'clock. I don't think it will happen. PEC members are here, seated at the podium. They are just waiting, but there are no delegates here. Let's take a listen to what Hlakani Pontombela said about this conference starting in the afternoon.
Yeah, we're contemplated to start at 10. In all probabilities, if you look at the time now, it's almost 20 to 1. We might be starting around about 2 o'clock, primarily because, for whatever reasons, delegates were held somewhere in the hotels. I can't answer to that. Maybe the regions can explain why they were holding their delegation in the hotels, because they were all aware. Because we have done pre-registration across all the regions. There is no person who's registering for the first time now. The only thing they have to come and do today is to come and collect their tax. So if you're holding your delegate somewhere to collect their tax, it's not something we can answer on as a province. You go and check the chief lobbyist. Why are they holding the delegates where they are? But on our side, I was coming from the operational side as People's Park now. People are coming up in their numbers and they are registering. In an hour, we should be ready to start the conference.
All right, senior reporter Sipamandla Koke as well as Manqoba Mchunu. Let's leave it there for now. They're both in KZN covering that conference for us. Let's